I'm Reggae Dave from the Road Safety All Stars. I got a message for you, but you don't need to be told, because you know. Stay safe.
Leighton, thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Peter. Good to be with you.
All right, so Leighton, it is that time of the year, sadly, where people, some will not be coming back from their holiday destinations because they're traveling quite far, and many of them by road. And one of the things that we often don't do is think about, A, the distance we're traveling, the cars that we're in, and some of the things that we need to do a bit more carefully for taking such trips. And I just wonder if you could take us through some of these golden rules that can help with our safety.
Yeah, you've touched on some very important points there, Peter. I think, first of all, the issue that you've raised about cars, the AA has been very much involved in promoting safer vehicles in South Africa through its hashtag Safer Cars for Africa program. So it's very important that your car is in a good condition and that it's a safe vehicle. And that it's not only safe for you, but it's safe for all your passengers, including the back passengers, which in a lot of instances are children. So very important to make sure that your car is in a good condition, that your car is serviced properly, that your tires are in a good condition, including the spare tire, and that vehicle is in a good enough condition to take you to your destination and then obviously bring you back. But equally important, or perhaps even more important than having a good vehicle, or a vehicle that is in a good condition, is having the right mindset, getting your head in the right space, understanding that you're going to be sharing the road with many thousands of other motorists this holiday season, and that you need to obey the rules of the road, you need to play the game, you need to understand that other people will be sharing that road with you, and you have a responsibility not only to yourself and the passengers in your vehicle, but to those other road users as well. And that means being courteous, and above all being respectful of the laws of South Africa. We know that more than 80%, 90% of all fatalities in our country are caused through human error, and it's very important that drivers over this period specifically adjust their attitudes and ensure that they have the right mindset when they get behind the wheel of their vehicle.
And you started off talking about your car. I mean, I can't remember, and I must put my hand up, where I actually walked around my car just to inspect it. And I would imagine that on a long journey, that's the first thing that you do.
100%. You've got to make sure that that car is in a good condition. If you haven't had it serviced before a long trip, you really need to do that. You need to make sure that those tires are in a good enough condition to take you there and bring you back again. If you're unsure, if you have any doubts, go to a tire expert. Let them inspect your tires and let them tell you whether those tires are in a good enough condition to take you 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers on a road trip. If they aren't, don't save that money. You need to spend that money. You need to get proper tires on your vehicle. Those tires are so critical to your safety. And when you consider, Peter, that if one of those tires were to burst while you're on a road at a high speed, you're not only endangering your own life, you're endangering the lives of the people in your vehicle and other road users as well. So it's absolutely critical that you do that inspection of your vehicle, you make sure that everything is in a good condition. And we're looking at these visuals now of all these cars on the road. Those are the people that you are going to be sharing the road with. So you have to make sure your car's in a good condition. You make a very good point. Please go around your car, inspect it, make sure that it's in a good condition.
Alright, so another simple thing that we often don't do, some cars force you because they make a noise, and that's putting on your seatbelt. But often the people sitting in the back don't do the same, even though the seatbelts may be available.
100%. We have crash tested vehicles at 64 kilometers an hour, Peter, and the dummies in those vehicles are wearing their seatbelts. And when you see the damage that is caused at 64 kilometers an hour on a dummy that is wearing their seatbelt, I promise you, you will never get into a vehicle again and not strap yourself in. It is a safety measure. It is vital that you wear your seatbelt. And if there are children in the back seat or adults in the back seat that are old enough to wear those seatbelts, you must not only encourage them, you must insist upon it. If there are children and they are younger and they need to be in child restraints, then you need to put them in those child restraints. Driving without a seatbelt, simply put, is risking your life. It's suicidal. You cannot do it, and you cannot risk the lives of the people in your vehicle by not having them wear seatbelts. You have to, I mean, the bottom line, Peter, and I'm a little incredulous because I know there's a lot of people that do this, you simply have to wear your seatbelt. It is the most important safety thing you can do when you get into your vehicle. And when you consider it takes you less than 5 seconds to put that on, is there really a reason not to wear it?
Yeah, even in the back seat. Fatigue is another key factor, isn't it? How do we measure if we're tired? Is it a question of hours on the road? How do we measure?
Again, another excellent point. I think, when I mentioned in my opening remarks that you have to get your mind in the right place, I think very critically, if you are going to be going on a long journey, get a good night's rest before you get behind the wheel of a car. Don't go out to a party, don't wait up until the early hours of the morning and then only leave yourself 2 or 3 hours of sleep before you drive. That's really looking for trouble. Get a good night's rest, have a good meal before you hit the road, and on the road make sure that you are stopping every 200 kilometers or every 2 hours. Stretch your legs, get a bit of fresh air, just reinvigorate yourself a little bit before you get behind the wheel of a car again. If at any point in your journey you are feeling tired, you need to pull off to the side of the road, you need to stop where it's safe to do so, and you need to take a rest. If there are other people in the car with you that have their driver's licenses, you can share the load of the driving, but if you are at any time feeling tired, please don't continue your journey. Pull off where it's safe to do so and take that rest. It's critical to do that.
Again, something else you mentioned a little bit earlier, paying attention. I often find that if you're watching people around you, you can anticipate things just by watching the way they're driving.
No, absolutely agree with you. I mean, we obviously encourage drivers at all time to focus on the road ahead. And that's another reason why you've got a break, because focusing for 2 hours does take a mental strain on people. So focus on the road ahead, focus on what you are doing behind the wheel of your vehicle, and then after every 2 hours take a break. But please don't use your cell phone. Put your cell phone in your cubbyhole, put it in your boot, put it away while you're driving. You don't need to be on the phone texting or talking while you're driving. You need to be focused on the road. The only time you need to have a cell phone with you is when you're going to be downloading the AA app, or when you're going to be using the AA app. That's the only time you'll be needing it, and when you do use it, you're on the safe side of the road. You're not driving at the same time.
All right, Leighton Beard, thanks very much indeed for your time and sharing your time and sharing your time and sharing your time and sharing your time and
Traffic accidents are the leading cause of on-the-job fatalities in America. About 40,000 people die in motor vehicle crashes each year. With the automobile fatality trends increasing, it's important to understand the dangers of driving and how to safely commute to and from work each day. To ensure your safety on the road, inspect your vehicle to make sure it is in good working condition and is safe for travel before setting out. Check tire pressure and inspect tires for excessive or uneven wear. Examine your wiper blades and windows and mirrors. Make sure they are clean. Check your brakes and look for any fluid leaks outside the vehicle. Test lights and turn signals. Check warning lights inside the vehicle. And secure any cargo that may move or shift when the vehicle is in motion. Adjust your mirrors to eliminate blind spots. Use the blind spot glare elimination approach to position mirrors farther out than most of us are used to, but can help eliminate troublesome blind spots. Sit in the driver's seat and place your head flush against the driver's side window. While in that position, adjust the driver's side mirror until the edge of the car is just barely visible in the mirror. Lean your body to the right so that your head is directly below the rearview mirror or above the center console, and adjust the passenger side mirror until the edge of the car is just barely visible in the mirror. Seat belts save lives and reduce the risk of injury. You should always wear your seat belt, whether in the front seat or the back seat. Make sure the lap belt and shoulder belt are secured across the pelvis and rib cage. Place the shoulder belt across the middle of your chest, away from your neck, and the lap belt across your hips, not your stomach. When driving, 100% of your attention should be on the road at all times. Before leaving, check the surrounding area. Walk around the vehicle looking for any obstacles or objects that could damage the vehicle if you drive or back over them. Do not eat, drink, or talk on the phone or text while driving. Pulling over for a few minutes to do these tasks can be the difference between life and death. Distracted driving includes texting, talking on the phone, eating and drinking, and playing with the radio or navigation system. Takes your eyes off the road for 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving the length of an entire football field with your eyes closed. Obey posted speed limits and drive slower in bad weather. Give plenty of braking distance between you and the car in front of you. Drive defensively and give yourself time to react to any hazards, especially in bad weather. 1/3 of all traffic fatalities in the U.S. involve impaired drivers. Whether it's alcohol, marijuana, or prescription drugs, do not drink or use drugs and then drive. Read prescription and over-the-counter medication labels to make sure there is no risk of impairment, such as drowsiness, sleepiness, or anxiety. Do not drive drowsy. Get enough rest every day to avoid drowsiness and get a good night's sleep before a long car trip. While motorcyclists, bicyclists, and pedestrians have the same responsibilities and rights as motorists, they're also more vulnerable without the protection of a car. You should always keep a further distance from these roadway users. Be especially mindful of pedestrians. Do not assume they can see you. When you're behind the wheel, you have only one job: follow the rules of the road and drive safely.